Hello, Ashley here, host of the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, back with episode 45. And this is the episode for you if you've ever, like I have in the past, sat staring at your computer or your phone for entirely too long with a total blank on what the heck to create and post for your audience. If you can relate to that, then you need this strategy. It is an absolute game changer. Before or after you listen to this episode, make sure that you go ahead and snag your free $99 brand toolkit. I put a link in the show notes to that, or you can also go to elevatedwithashley.com/toolkit, TOOLKIT, all one word, no hyphen. And you're going to get not only the editable companion worksheet that goes along with this strategy, so you don't have to create it yourself, although you could, as well as a bunch of my other best freebies, and they're all in one place. I put them in Kajabi for you. All you have to do is input your email and say, yes, you want it, and that will give you instant access. And you can download the editable worksheet from Canva. You can make it your own and create your brand colors. You'll see what I mean as you listen to this episode, but you're going to want that for sure, let alone all of the other free goodness inside. I'm so excited for you to get this. I've been working really hard on it and I hope you love it. I wanted to read a review from one of our listeners, Madison M. She said so kindly, "So inspiring. I love this podcast. It's really helped with my self-development and mindset adjustment. And I'm also loving listening to how to strategize my business. I've been able to take away so much so far." Thank you so much for listening, Madison, and for taking your time to rate and review the podcast. It's so helpful for this show's visibility, and I just appreciate you so much. So thank you again. All right, let's get right into our content for the day. How to create a month of brand content in less than 30 minutes. Let's go. Hey mama, I'm Ashley, and this is the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, where you're free and encouraged to own your desire to create and scale an impactful, discoverable online brand and business in the midst of motherhood. A business that's aligned with your mission, lifestyle desires, personality, and zone of genius without wasting your time on the hustle and grind hamster wheel that is social media. Can I get an amen? Sis, you are a maverick, an original, willing to stand out in your authenticity, defy expectations, and do life and business outside the box. In our world, if it's not aligned with who we are, it's a hard pass or a brave pivot. So if you're here for the powerful identity shift and transformation from boss babe or boss mom to aligned CEO, building a one-of-a-kind, influential, hustle-free online business that will produce long-term impact and multiple streams of income through SEO, affiliate marketing, and courses while building yourself in the process, well, pop in those AirPods, grab that cup of coffee or glass of wine, and let's get growing. Hello and happy Wednesday. Wednesdays are going to be the new podcast drop dates, with Taylor starting school and being in first grade full day and readjusting my workflow. Wednesdays make the most sense. I probably will upload on Tuesday nights sometimes because I won't be able to wait to get this out to you, but Wednesday is the day that you can expect podcast episodes to drop by at very latest, if not on Tuesdays. So happy Wednesday, happy hump day, happy Maverick Mompreneur drop day, officially. Let's talk about how to create a month's worth of content in less than 30 minutes. Now, as you're going through this process and setting up your chart, if you haven't or are averse to downloading the chart that I created for you, this might take a little more than 30 minutes the first time, but it can take as little as 10 minutes. Caveat, this is one way of creating on-brand content. There are many different ways, and truly you have to feel out what works best for you and what helps you to generate ideas and not feel stuck, and to make sure that you're delivering valuable content to your audience. The content, where you post it, can be any platform that you choose. The type of post you create can be any form that you choose. For example, a live video, a YouTube video, a reel, a TikTok, a shareable content type of post like a carousel or something, a meme, a podcast, a blog, a Pinterest pin, whatever type of content you are choosing is fine for this formula. It depends on where you choose to show up energetically. So if you are choosing to, your social media platform is YouTube, or yours is TikTok, or yours is Facebook, or yours is Instagram, I want you to tailor this to your business model and what feels most aligned to you. If you haven't gone to elevatedwithashley.com/toolkit, or you just don't want to for some reason, you can start out by taking a piece of paper. So take a piece of paper and turn it so that it is hamburger style. I believe hamburger versus hot dog. Anyway, so it's horizontal. And I want you to create 4 columns. Okay, so make sure that your piece of paper has 4 columns and label each column 1 through 5, leaving some space to write. Or better yet, go download your printable so you don't have to do this part. So again, 4 columns. Each column should have number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, leaving some space to write under each one of those. Step 2, once you have your 4 columns written out, you are going to label the top of each column with your brand content pillars. So column 1, column 2, and column 3 with your brand content pillars. Now, if you only have 2, then you are just going to create extra content on that 3rd column. Okay, 5 pieces of extra content. And then the other category, the 4th column, is going to be called other or miscellaneous or whatever you would like. I put on mine other. The other column is going to be for your, what I call flair, your lifestyle, an engagement post, like a choose this or that, that's related to your brand. And one of those 1 through 5 is going to be a monthly update of your profile picture and caption if you're on Facebook, or an intro style post on Instagram or TikTok or Reels, introducing yourself and what you're all about and your message and your brand. Okay, and that's going to allow your audience to get to know you better. So the other column is still on brand, but it's more of your flair versus your main content pillars where you are delivering valuable content, you're pointing out a problem, you're providing a solution, and then hopefully you are connecting how you and your offers can be a solution for your problem that you are highlighting, or for your desire that you are highlighting for your ideal client avatar. So for example, if we're thinking about a couple different brand examples and what their first 3 brand content pillar columns would be labeled, one example would be mindset, online business, personal branding, and then the flair being an obsession with coffee and working in pajamas. Okay, so you're not going to have 5 posts a month about working in pajamas, but you might have 1 or 2 flair pieces in your stories, or maybe even a post, and we'll get more into that in a bit. Another example of 3 brand content pillars and flair: hot mess mama, so more of that relatable lifestyle. It's okay to not be perfectly perfect. Working from home tips, and clean living recommendations and tips and inspo, with flair being sharing workouts sometimes in stories or in posts and kind of connecting that to, self-care, whatever. So that's another brand. Next up, maybe there's a brand that's life hacks, Amazon finds, and mom life tips. Those are the main brand content. And then the flair being sharing some behind the scenes business type of info. Okay, so just kind of showing setup and whatever it might be. If you aren't crystal clear on your brand content pillars, I do highly, highly recommend that you dive into my self-paced course, Align Your Brand. It's now super affordable because it is a self-paced versus a live program. Align Your Brand's exactly what you need if you recognize that you need a cohesive personal brand to stand out in a sea of people doing things similar to what you're doing, but you need to get some direction, alignment, and clarity around your message, your ideal client avatar, your brand content pillars, which we're talking about today, and the common denominator between them so that you have a really cohesive brand, your tagline, where you should be showing up online and how often that feels aligned to you, your most aligned lead generation method, your aesthetic, like your colors, your fonts, where you can use them, your plan for monetization, and obviously most importantly, as it's called, align your brand, is how would you ensure that all of the above is aligned to your core values, your personality type, your past experiences, how you define personal success, your time and your schedule and your passions, so that you are building a business and a life that you absolutely love. So if you need any or all of that, but particularly if you're not sure about what your brand content pillars are, or you want to realign them, please, I want you to go through Align Your Brand. This is exactly what I would do if you were to come to me and want to work one-on-one, but it's way more affordable. So you can check that out at elevatedwithashley.com/align. Again, elevatedwithashley.com/align, and I'll also leave a link in the show notes. Shameless plug for Align Your Brand because it's so good. And if you're like, oh, I'm not quite here where I can do this content strategy, you need that first. Okay, so go take that course, whip through it, get your brand content pillars, and then come back to this. So number 3, what you're going to do now that you have your 3 brand content pillars labeled and your 4th labeled as other, you're going to come up with ideas and topics. So you're going to have 5 topics or ideas for each column, which is going to be a total of 20 pieces of content. And I recommend you do not have to post every single day, like in your feed. I stay in my stories every single day just because I love connecting with people in stories. It's like the real, I'm not all about creating perfect images and things like that, but I love being in stories, showing behind the scenes, giving little tips and tricks and things like that. But you will have 20 pieces of content, which you may choose to post Monday through Friday. You may choose to post only 4 times per week or 2 times per week, but this is going to give you 20 pieces of content to rotate through to make sure you're hitting all of your on-brand content that your audience is going to come to know and love you for. And many of these pieces of content are going to be longer form so that you can actually expand upon and repurpose them. So this 30 minutes of your time may actually yield you way more than a whole month's worth of content if you're repurposing, which I highly recommend that you do. Take one piece of anchor content, say you have a longer live video or a YouTube or a podcast or a blog post. You can take chunks of that longer form content and create reels, shareable posts, YouTube shorts. You can repurpose to Pinterest stories. There's so many ways to use one piece of content and really spread it out if it's a juicy piece of content and drive back to hopefully that evergreen platform that you own. So either your website, that would be my recommendation, or your podcast or your YouTube videos, somewhere that is going to allow you to use SEO, search engine optimization, and to be searchable. Ideally, if you're rocking YouTube or you're rocking a podcast, you are repurposing onto your website that you own so that people can find you through SEO on both places, if not all 3. You're double or triple dipping. I'm bird walking here, but I was going to bring it up. So now I'm going to give you an example of what it would look like to go through and create ideas and topics, 5 of them for each column of your content brain dump. So this example that I'm going to give you, the brand content pillars are mompreneur lifestyle, healthy lifestyle and mindset, and online business tips. And then this person's flair is being an 80s kid and they love wine and coffee. Okay, so brand pillar number 1, mompreneur lifestyle. Post number 1, and again, you can see I've labeled a bunch of different styles of posts and included other. You can circle which one you want it to be. So say this was going to be a reel. Share a part of my story. So a part of the story of how you became a mompreneur. So share. Storytelling equals sales. And so you do want to incorporate your story or stories of others and get vulnerable and get personal. So that's 1. Number 2, a mom life, meme, or quote. That's another piece of content. So that's 2. 3, work at home mom tips and encouragement. And this person would want to choose, where is that going to be? Is that going to be a reel? Is that going to be a post? Is that going to be a live? Depending on where they're showing up. Number 4, a mompreneur lifestyle quote. So again, a branded shareable quote. If you're showing up on Instagram or Facebook, you want things that people are going to share because that's free marketing for you. That's more brand visibility for you. If you're sharing a selfie of yourself with a really strong quote or inspirational thought, that's not going to get shared because people don't want to share selfies or pictures of you to their feed, most likely. They're more likely to share something that is a branded quote or a meme. And then the fifth for that particular brand pillar would be favorites, indoor activities for kiddos that keep them occupied if and when you need to work when they're home. So maybe you have a child that's not yet in school, so activities that a mompreneur could put into place. Second column for this healthy lifestyle / mindset fusion. This is the brand content pillar for this person, the second one. First piece of content would be about discipline when it comes to mindset. The second post might be this person is in social selling. This might be a team giveaway, but the product is something that it has to do with a healthy lifestyle. The third and fourth are actually going to both be personal development takeaways. So living out your brand, right? Embodying your brand. So actually having that healthy mindset, taking the time to do personal development and then reflect and give something back to your audience. So 3 and 4 are both that same idea. And then the fifth would be some at-home workout essentials, especially for busy mompreneurs. So things that are helpful to have at home to maintain a healthy lifestyle, which helps with discipline, focus, all the things. Okay, so that would be so far 10 pieces of content, and you're determining at each piece which type do you want to create. And remember, if it's a long form post, so say there's a blog post with at-home workout essentials and they're linked with affiliate links and all those good things, you can absolutely repurpose that into your stories, into a post on Instagram or Facebook, etc., etc. Okay, for this example, column number 3 is online business. So not just the mompreneur lifestyle, but this is online business tips. So post number 1, content repurposing. Post number 2, elements of becoming a person of influence, because you have to have influence, not necessarily with a massive audience, but you have to have influence to make the income and impact that you want. Number 3 for this pillar, sharing a team or client win. So celebrating others' success. Number 4, again, another element of becoming a person of influence. This is going to be like a branded quote. So something that's very shareable for sure on this one. And then the 5th one, sharing another part of their story, but related to starting their online business or something where they were at this point in their business or life. And then as a result of steps that they took where they are now. And so something inspirational. Okay. So that would be 5, 10, 15 pieces of content. Again, if it's longer form content, a lot of those could be repurposed and spread around. So this could be a lot of content right there. Then the other column, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for this person, the first one, number 1, and I'm going to tell you how the 1s and the 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s go together. But 1 is going to be that updated profile picture, caption. That's a given for the month. The second, engagement on this or that. And so this would be like an 80s kids style post with, did you prefer NSYNC or New Kids on the Block or something along those lines, just for engagement, to have a little fun, to help your audience to get to know you. 3, 4, and 5 are all either going to be flair or lifestyle. So again, these are just allowing people to see who you are, what you're all about. People may connect with you on that or not, but they're getting to know you. 3 would be favorite affordable wines. Number 4, weekend activity picture. Maybe you're wine tasting, I don't know. And then 5 would be something, again, caffeine or coffee related. I'm picturing that meme where someone is like starting their day with coffee and then the transition to wine, like with no water in there, and how unhealthy that is, which would be ironic since this person's second brand pillar is healthy lifestyle. But I hope you get the idea of an example month's worth of brain dumping brand content. Now, step 4 when you go to create content, and you can start at the beginning of a month, or if you're in the middle of a month and you want to just jump right in, you're going to work across your worksheet as you go to create your posts. Now, whether you batch them once a week or you are a day by day type of gal, you're going to work across as you create your posts to make sure that you're rotating through your brand content pillars. So example, one day you post brand content pillar 1, number 1. The next day or time you post brand pillar number 2, number 1. The next time you post would be brand pillar number 3 with number 1 as well. And then other, the number 1 in the other column. And then drop down to row 2, and you're going to work through the row 2. Then you're going to go through row 3 so that you're rotating through your brand content pillars. This is a whole other episode, but I'm just going to throw this out there. What I tend to do is use each of those numbers. So like column number 1, item or post number 1, I pick a theme. So I pick out like a full theme for the week so that I'm able to expand on that for a whole entire week. So this content calendar could really be like months and months worth of content if you wanted it to be. I don't know if I recommend that right now, but I'm just saying, if you find that there's something that's really resonating with your audience, you can pause your rotation through your content and start expanding upon that one theme. Honestly, I think it's a better experience for your audience because it is more in depth. And not everyone sees everything you post. So if there's a topic that's really important to you and that you think would really benefit your audience, it only serves both you time-wise and them experience and content-wise for you to expand that and to take them along a journey for, say, a whole week or several days on theme. For example, next week, I'm going to be talking on the podcast about example offers that I would create if I were in, I haven't determined the exact amount, but basically 5 to 10 other industries or jobs like hairstylist, realtor, teacher. What kind of offers would I create to create that additional revenue stream? So that's going to be a longer form piece of content, but I'll also be creating like a carousel style post for Instagram, a reel that's an audiogram from the podcast that's about as real as I can get, real creation wise. A blog post with that podcast transcription, and a story series that's going to be informative, like a little mini lesson leading up to promoting that podcast episode and or the blog. So that will take up many days of content creation, driving back to one major theme. And then obviously I'm going to be tying in how my services and offers can be the solution to creating that additional revenue stream. Does that make sense? So themes are really good to go off of. It saves you time and it's also great for your audience. I hope that you found this brand content brain dump, how to create a whole bunch of on-brand content ideas in less than 30 minutes. I hope you found this super helpful. And if you did, honestly, the best way that you can show your appreciation is take a screenshot of this episode, share it in your stories, and tag me. I would love that. It's so helpful for visibility for the show. And I just appreciate you guys so much. I will see you next week on Wednesday. And until then, cheers to your impact. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. My goal is to help as many women in business online as possible to build strong, powerful, aligned, and profitable personal brands. The best way to show you appreciate this content is to screenshot and share on your social media or share with your team. Actually, even better would be to also leave a review for the podcast on whichever platform you're listening on. If you are looking for any additional support, you can always reach me via email at hello@elevatedwithashley.com. You can DM me on Instagram at Ashley R. Latimer, or join us in the free Elevate Academy for brand building, maverick marketers, and mompreneurs Facebook community. Can't wait to chat with you next week.